Hello guys, welcome to our fourth and last LaTeX workshop session. In this session, we will be talking about papers, and if we have enough time, we cover some presentation topic in LaTeX. In our first session, we introduced LaTeX and we created a simple document with LaTeX, and we cover the ways we can use LaTeX both with cloud and also locally. In the second session, we talked about tables, text formatting, font size, highlighting, underlining, and text manipulation in general. In third session, we cover Tixi basically and how we can use Tixi packages, Tixi related packages to create illustrations, graph, and etc. We in the our last sessions we talked about online a website that we can use in order to help us create our visualization, our tables much more easily and with user interface. We continue to do so with some of your questions. For example, how we can use CSV kind of document in LaTeX. I introduce some online website to help you to do so. So let's get started. But before we start the course, I received three questions from you. First is just about the CSV file I told you earlier, which for this I will show a website. And also you asked me to how we can prepare a presentation with LaTeX. I will tell you about this. If we have enough time, I will prepare uh, something to use it from scratch, creating presentation from scratch. But if we don't have enough time, I introduce some website that you can download that, for example, your desired theme and work on that instead. In our yes. The third question is about how we can convert MATLAB to LaTeX. I didn't catch this question. It's related. Which part of MATLAB do you want to have in your LaTeX? For example, if you want your code in MATLAB, in LaTeX, I think it's not best practice because the code may have thousands of lines in it, and I think it's not practic. It's not best practice, but you can do it also by creating a code environment. If you want to have, for example, your algorithm in MATLAB in LaTeX, it's really easy. I can tell you, and in the paper I have prepared a small fragment of semi-code that you can use in LaTeX. If you want to have your graphs and your illustrations in MATLAB or Simulink and have it in your LaTeX, I will tell you about this in paper part that I'm gonna start it now. So if you don't have any question, I will start the writing paper session. For writing a paper, first you need to find the website that you want to use. For preparing the journal paper or conference paper, you must visit author's guideline in journal website. For example, Elsevier has this page. This is a LaTeX instruction. You can see here that the only necessary part is to have the CLS file or class file of your document. You know the which one was the class file? I told you earlier about the class files. For example, at the beginning of your document, if you have this part in this command, you can see what document class you are looking for. For example, if you have article, if you want article, or for example, standalone document, etc. If you want to standalone, yes, standalone. If you want to have, for example, Elsevier journal template, you just need to, if you read this page carefully, you understand that you just have to use this class file in combination with BibTeX. BibTeX is the engine that compile your bibliography, and I will talk about it in this session. So, for creating Elsevier journal kind of document or paper, you just need to specify it here, ELS article, and you're good to go. Um, you may begin your document here, and in this, for example, this is a simple text. If you compile your code here, you see that this is not much different from, for example, hello world that we typed in our last session, but there is built-in differences. For example, in this document class rather than article. For example, for example, if I change this document class to IEEE tran, this is a transaction document class. You see the margins and the page numbering are much different in this type of document. This is because, as I told you earlier, in LaTeX you don't have to worry about the, for example, appearance of your document or the setting, the margin, padding, etc. You just need to focus on your content. So, for this session, we will be talking about this document class, and we will be we will add some feature to this uh, draft paper, and we try to make it like a real draft paper. So, first of all, in the option, you can say that is you want to create your document for a conference, or you just need it for a journal. Uh, After adding some feature to your document, you can see there is a difference for example, name of the affiliation and etc. So I will use some packages. First, we will use lipsum package. Use package, yes, to create some text. I think those are not necessary for this moment. Okay, for a title, you in this class file, by having / title, you can have your title here, your paper title goes here. So after this, in order to see your title, you just need this command to see your title. You see, this is kind of your title. Let me just, yes, I believe this is much better now. For your author, you just need some argument here. First of all, you need this IEEE author block. Yes. Author block N is just the name, and author block A is for affiliation. Name, you can, for example, author one, and at the end of that, you should show this author, for example, assign to address the affiliation. Uh, this is author, I believe, ref mark, yes. Ref mark, author ref mark. Yes, for example, for mark, I believe one is a star, and we may have author two, and our author two will have different ref mark, for example, two. So, yes, this is our author name, and after that, yes, after that we will have uh, block A, as I told you, for the affiliation, author block A. In this, we will address all the ref mark that we assign to our authors. For example, I triple E author ref mark one corresponds with School of, for example, Engineering, University of, and the name of province in the country. For the next ref mark, we should do it also for the author block, yes. This is for the ref mark 2. We just copy and paste this. So, I believe that would be good. If we hit run, you see, yes, after the end block, we need a new line. And now we can see we have author 1 and author 2, and author 1 is shown by a star, and a star is the affiliation related to corresponding to the first author. For the second author, we will be, for example, we can just hit enter to have all of them centered in this way. So this is just for authors. So after that, we can begin. First of all, we can have our page style. Page style. Uh, this is standard plain. So for having abstract here, we just begin abstract here. And in abstract, I believe a simple libsum package with one paragraph would be enough. You see, those are the settings that are built in IEEE transaction class. And for example, you don't have to specify that you want your abstract in italic mode. And you need a hyphen after that. It will do the automatic job here. So this is why you must use a class in LaTeX for having your document as clean as possible. So after that, you may start to add your, for example, introduction, background, experiment, conclusion, etc. For the sake of having your code as clean as possible, I recommend having, for example, here I have a root.tech file. It is like main.tech, and if you are familiar with coding, you know that the main is the essential part of your code. In main, you can address different function, different file, etc. In LaTeX, we do the same, and we just have our main.tech file or root.tech file as clean as possible, and then we address all of them, all of your needed part in other documents. For example, in here, in my draft paper directory, I had several files, which most of them are not important, and they are compiling automatically, and you don't have to know about them. This root.tech is the file that I'm working with. You have the content, figure, or tables, for code, etc. You can have as much as uh, directory in it as you want. For example, for if I browse to content, you see I have background.tech, I have conclusion.tech, I have experiment.tech, I have introduction.tech, and this is a MATLAB code that we don't need anymore. You understand that if I want to add a section to my document, I can easily here tell LaTeX that I want a new section, but instead of that, I can use an input command. In that, I will tell LaTeX to go to my content folder, and inside that, bring my introduction here. So what this part do is just goes to this directory and grab my introduction the tech file and compile it in it. In this way, we have a very small root file that we can easily go and see our other component in file. So if I hit compile, you see this is a standard new section in ITP transaction, which is a centered one, a centered title. And this my introduction is empty because my introduction.tech is empty. So if I add some line here, this is my introduction part. If I hit run, you see my introduction. It doesn't matter if you compile your introduction.tech or your root.tech. it will essentially do the same and will prepare you the your desired document. So I think this is the part that we can talk about bibliography in LaTeX and how we can cite our papers, patents, etc. We have two ways for this topic to be done, and first one is to uh, use just the backslash beep item at the end of our document and have our citation, and inside our tag we can just by backslash cite the keyword we can cite this our document. But as we discussed earlier, it is the best practice to just separate all the files we need. For example, we just use root.tech, and this root.tech is essentially a host to all of our the tech file, which include, for example, the introduction, the experiment, and the conclusion, etc. So for this purpose, we just need to define a new .beep file, and inside that beep file, we can have our citations. So let's get to it and create a new .beep file. So for this purpose, we just need to create a new file and just save it as, for example, references.beep. Inside that file, we can have our citation. One method for adding citation is to use Google Scholar. For example, if I type Google Scholar here, you can find whatever you want to cite here. For example, uh, if I just use this paper, I can have my citation in different format. If you want to use it, for example, in Microsoft Word, you can in which style, depend on your style. You can just grab the code here, grab the text here, and paste it into your document. But if you want to use it with BibTeX, you just click this button, and you will be presented by the code here, which is essentially the fundamental, the name, the title, the author, the journal, the volume, and etc. About this paper, and you just paste it into your reference uh, .beep. So after having this in your reference.beep, you must include some commands here. First of all is to define your bibliography style and also your file. Um, you must address the reference.beep file in your root.tech. For example, for bibliography style, you just write bibliography style, and the accepted version for IEEE transaction class is IEEE Tran, and after that you can define your bibliography. This is our references the beep file that we just created. References, yes. And after that, you can, uh, yes, after that, you can hit compile, and you see in your document, you must state whenever you want to cite your reference. By, for example, in this work, backslash site and then beep ID. Beep ID is just this key just after the type of your work, article, book, etc. You just copy and paste it here, and then you're good to go. After updating the bibliography file by F8, you may need it to do it twice. And then after that, by hitting compile, you can see our references now appeared, and I have the numbering here carefully. Um, Another, just for the visual appearance, you can use this package of hyperlink, I guess. Hyper, hyperref, yes. Hyperref with this option of color links in order to see the links in your document. For example, for citation, you can see your links in green, and for cite for cross-reference, meaning for citing the figures or tables in your document, you can see it in red. So let's go ahead. That was essentially the bibliography. For adding another one as an example, we can have, for example, this very famous paper. You can hit the site again, use BibTeX as your engine for citation, and just grab the code here. Go to your reference.bib, and after that you can paste it here. You just use this key to cite in your document. For example, the famous deep learning work stated that. For citing, as I showed you earlier, you can have this site, and inside pip ID you can hit paste this key. After that, you just hit and run. If you got an error here, you may compile your bibliography again. But in this case, we don't have any errors, and we have our two references here. For adding another part, another section into our document, we can, for having a better visual appearance, I guess I use Lipson package here and add maybe 3 paragraph here. Yes. And for this purpose, we will use another input here in my content folder. We will have, for example, background. I guess I created a background folder here. Yes. I don't know if it is empty or not. Yes, it has an equation here and 3 paragraph. We just hit compile and see our next paragraphs. You can see this equation is the one equation that we created ourselves in, I think, the second session. You can just grab the code and paste it whenever you like here. You can add another equation. You can manipulate your equation as you want. The reason that I use this equation here is to show you that LaTeX is extremely flexible with all kind of math, and you can use, for example, a equation that is written for 2 column pages and insert it in one column page, and LaTeX will do the font sizing and just change the spaces as needed in your new format. So for adding another section, we can just do it again by input command. and we state that in our content we will have experiment here, and if I had this experiment dot tag, you can see my experiment dot tag is empty, and now I have my paper in this way.